homework assignment.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and identify the best quarterback traits.
Yeah, so we start with arm strength. And number one, I went Josh Allen. It's not just throwing the ball 50, 60 yards down the field, what Josh is more than capable of. But a lot of times it's, can you drive the ball into that window, that small window that has to get layered over a certain defender in between 2 or 3 guys, on top of the ability to throw that ball 50 to 60 yards downfield. There's so many guys that the arm strength has just become a focal point of their game. But Josh Allen, and the way that he can make some of those off-platform, I call them funny body throws where his feet are all over the place, but still drive the ball. That's why Josh Allen is number one. Let's go to ball placement. Number one there is going to be Matthew Stafford. I want to reiterate to people, accuracy, throwing to your guy. Ball placement, throwing away from the defender. I think Matthew Stafford does that better than anybody in football. There's a saying that there's no defense for the perfect throw. No one made more perfect throws last year than Matthew Stafford from all over the field. Balls down the middle of the field, down the seam, out in the perimeter, down in the red zone. When the coverage is there, he throws it exactly away from the defender in the perfect spot to get that benefit of the completion. The third one was rushing ability. And while his season was off last year in this regard, I put Lamar Jackson still at number one. It was because of injury. He is still Lamar Jackson. He is still one of the most dynamic players and athletes that we have in the NFL. And even though last year's numbers were a little bit down, it's still the fear of every time that he takes off running, not only in the designed game, but the scramble, the broken down play game, the play's not there, the defense won the rep. He's still the guy when it comes to the fear that is struck in defenses. And if he's going to be healthy this year in Declan Doyle's new offense, I still think that we will see him to be one of the, if not the most dynamic rushers in the NFL.
Very nicely done, D.O. Lamar's rushing was down last season, averaging a career low 26 yards per game on the ground with only 2 rushing touchdowns. That comes after averaging nearly 60 rushing yards per game and 5 scores on the ground per season in his first 7 years in the NFL. So, Dan, you see those numbers. To what extent will Lamar's season be defined by his legs?
Very little. I mean, Lamar's legs always have been, always will be part of the storyline for their season. I think a huge storyline is going to be a little bit similar to what like Caleb Williams experienced last year with Ben Johnson in Chicago, Declan Doyle, who comes from Chicago, a little bit what we've talked about with Jalen Hurts. It's just, this is going to be a little bit of newness for Lamar, this scheme, this style. I've seen this scheme that Declan Doyle should operate, elevate average quarterbacks physically to above average production-wise. Now we're taking one of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever had in the league, and we're putting him into that type of scheme. If this hits, and I don't have any reason to think it won't, if this hits, this could be the best season that we've seen from Lamar production-wise. That's the potential for this offense.
Itself to what we've been accustomed to seeing from the Baltimore Ravens. Remember, the Baltimore Ravens' DNA is always on the defensive side of the football. That's why they have a new head coach, to resurrect that side of the ball, in my opinion. So when they're playing the type of defense that we've been accustomed to seeing in Baltimore, combine that with the offensive line playing up to par, Baltimore will be that's the scenario we're talking about right there.
Steve Smith, you played in Baltimore.
Sure
What's
did.
the key to winning that AFC North?
It's the black and blue division. We're talking about Lamar Jackson and his legs, and we're looking at a defense it was ranked 30th. Yeah. The defense also allowed overall 4,200 yards of offense. Like, we're putting it all on Lamar. Like Lamar's blocking somebody. Lamar's, handled a TE stunt. Nope, he didn't. Lamar covered someone. Nope. We're putting it all on the quarterback as if we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, and they've been known traditionally as what? Stone cold stopping defenses.
Yeah.
But we're highlighting the quarterback. We need to stop giving quarterbacks all his accolades or putting all of the excuses on the reasons why the team isn't playing, and then we giving all these hall passes to all these other people who aren't doing their job.
Let's talk about that defense for a moment. Last year was a big problem. You saw it right out of the gate in that game against Buffalo. We all focused on the Derrick Henry fumble at the end of the game, but the defense gave up almost 1,000 yards to the Bills. Are they going to be improved enough this year?
They have to, and that's why I love the hire of Jesse Minter. He's a guy that was once within this organization, but winning the national championship at Michigan, had the #1 defense as defensive coordinator. He went over to the Los Angeles Chargers. He was able to find diamonds in the rough and put those guys in positions to have success. Now, some of the numbers are what Smitty's talking about, and you, Joe, as well. Total defense, 24th. Pass defense, 30th. Sacking the quarterback, 29th. They only had 30. You have to be better on the defensive side of the football. And I don't understand why it was so bad, because when you look at all three levels of this defense, well, now you got Matabike. I get it. He was hurt last year, but he's back. You got Trey Henderson on your defensive line. Roquan Smith at the linebacker position. But I think one of the better safety tandems that they're going to have in the league this year is Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton. Yeah. It's no way in hell that this defense should have been as abysmal as they were a season ago. So Jesse Minter, I think he's going to change that, and that's going to allow the
Bills Mafia, let me ask you something that sounds wild at first, but stay with me. If Josh Allen already has the most dangerous arm in football, what happens if Buffalo ever adds a running back like Jonathan Taylor behind him? No, seriously, think about that for a second. We just heard the national conversation say it out loud. Josh Allen is #1 when it comes to arm strength. Not just because he can throw it 60 yards, not just because the ball jumps out of his hand like a missile, but because he can drive that thing into tiny windows between defenders, off balance, feet messy, body twisted, still somehow putting the football where only his guy can get it. That is not normal. That is not coachable. That is franchise altering. And that is why this Jonathan Taylor idea is so dangerous to even imagine. Now, let me be clear before anybody runs crazy with it. Jonathan Taylor is not a Buffalo Bill right now. This is a possibility conversation. This is a what if Brandon Beane ever saw a door crack open conversation. But when you are talking about Josh Allen's Super Bowl window, you have to explore every monster scenario, because the Bills are not in the business of just being cute anymore. This is not about winning headlines in August. This is about building a team that can walk into January and punch the AFC in the mouth. Jonathan Taylor is not just a running back. He is a tone changer. He is the kind of back who makes linebackers step forward, safeties hesitate, defensive coordinators tighten up, and then boom, Josh Allen has that one-on-one shot outside. That is the nightmare. That is the chess match. You put a back like Taylor in the same offensive universe as Allen, DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, and James Cook, and now defenses have a real problem. Do you load the box? Fine. Josh Allen has the arm to burn you over the top. Do you play light and protect against the deep ball? Fine. Taylor can punish your front. Do you spy Josh? Fine. Now you are short somewhere else. That is how you stress a defense until it breaks. And listen, I know what some fans are thinking, but the Bills already have James Cook. Correct, and James Cook is a serious weapon. This is not disrespect to Cook at all. Cook gives Buffalo speed, space, explosiveness, and he fits what Joe Brady wants to do. But the point is bigger than one depth chart argument. The point is this: Buffalo should never stop looking for ways to make life easier for Josh Allen. For too many years, the answer has been, Josh, go make magic. Josh, escape pressure. Josh, run through linebackers. Josh, throw across your body. Josh, save the season. Man, enough. Enough of asking one quarterback to be the entire superhero movie. If a player like Jonathan Taylor ever became realistically available, even for one phone call, Brandon Beane has to know the price. He has to know the structure. He has to know whether there is a smart way to make it work. Not reckless, not desperate, not throwing away the future just because the name is big, but smart aggression. That is the phrase, smart aggression. Because the AFC is not waiting for Buffalo. The Chiefs are not waiting. The Ravens are not waiting. The Bengals, Texans, Broncos, Patriots. Nobody is sitting around saying, let's make this easier for Josh Allen. No, everybody is loading up. Everybody is chasing the same door. So Buffalo has to be bold without being foolish. And here is why this connects perfectly to the clip. They are talking about quarterback traits, and Josh Allen's trait is the trait that terrifies every defense in football: arm strength. But arm strength becomes even more deadly when the run game forces defenders to freeze. That half second matters. That one false step matters. That safety peeking into the backfield matters. Because with Josh Allen, one hesitation can become a 45-yard strike. One bad angle can become 6 points. One defensive mistake can flip a playoff game. So my final take is favorable for Buffalo. The Bills do not need to panic. They already have the quarterback. They already have a dangerous offensive foundation. They already have weapons. But if a Jonathan Taylor-level opportunity ever appears, Buffalo cannot act scared. You protect Josh Allen's prime by surrounding him with answers. And if the league already admits Josh has the best arm in football, then imagine what happens when defenses also have to fear a true hammer in the backfield. That is not just an offense. That is pressure. That is punishment. That is a Super Bowl formula. Bills Mafia, now I need your honest take. Would you want the Bills to explore a Jonathan Taylor move if the price ever made sense, or should Buffalo ride with James Cook and keep the assets? Drop your opinion in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more Buffalo Bills news, rumors, reactions, and real Mafia talk.